It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue to talk tech here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Anti-poaching is a big deal to the African continent, protecting one of our most valuable natural resources, especially here in South Africa. And we're looking after our natural heritage for generations to come. That's how we've got to see it. And technology is playing its part more now than ever. Grant is back to chat to us a little bit how technology is helping our conservation efforts. And boy, don't we need it now. I've heard stories that there have been, again, spikes in rhino poaching because of the coronavirus pandemic and how that's affected how we're able to police areas. We need conservation efforts to get that shot in the arm.
You know, I feel very strongly about this. Predominantly because, you know, as Africa, as a continent, one of our biggest things that we can offer the world, and the things that a lot of other countries have actually demolished, is their fauna and flora. And we've still kept and looked after our fauna and flora. That natural heritage is something that we have been really good at, like across the globe, at looking after.
We're a global leader, yeah.
We're a global leader in it. And technology is helping play its part in this, which is really exciting.
So I know we've heard and seen how drones have been used incredibly. Now let's talk about thermal camera technology. How is this helping the guys in the front line?
So thermal cameras are actually improving quite dramatically. Now, a lot of people might know what a thermal camera is because they've seen it in an action movie, or they've seen it, night vision. Obviously, what it does is it detects heat signatures in the field. And using really advanced heat signature cameras, thermal cameras, you're able to identify and count animals at night. Remember, a lot of animal activity happens at night, but also poaching
predominantly happens at night.
Predominantly happens at night, as nightfall happens. So it's really hard to roam around with like a big spotlight. You kind of want to make sure that you using a thermal camera, you can identify poachers when they can't see you.
Yeah, because it's a war out there, and you need to get the beat on them. Yeah,
it's a war out there. Like that's one of the most important things. Like we don't realize how technologically advanced these poachers are becoming, and our game rangers and our parks departments have to get even more technology focused, because it is a war, and the team with the best equipment wins. Yeah, and we need to be on the forefront of that.
Well, unfortunately, the amount of money being pumped into the black market when it comes to poaching affords them that advantage. So we've got to kind of offset that balance. The world is more connected now than it ever has been before. How is the Internet of Things helping conservation?
So the concept of the Internet of Things is that there are a lot of different products that use the internet. They're all connected, and by using all these different products, you can find out a bunch of information on what's happening on the field. So in this instance, you might not want to track a specific rhino, perhaps, but if a poacher enters a certain area, they're more likely to come across a different kind of herbivore, like maybe a kudu or an eland or something. So what we're doing is we're collaring a whole bunch of herds of these different animals with tracking devices. There are a whole bunch of 3G towers across some of the national parks, and when there's erratic activity by one of these elands, that signal gets pinged to a tower, and they'll know that that's where a really big potential poacher has entered the grounds, illegally. So it's a little bit like Jurassic Park. You know, when they're sitting around the control tower, they see the different paddocks go.
I was going to say, like the coffee cup going.
It's a little bit more technologically advanced than a coffee cup.
Big is coming.
Yeah, but it's this really unique and lateral solution to finding out what's happening, or how poachers are entering the national parks, what their movements on the ground are.
Well, in a very innovative way. I absolutely love that. Using AI for conservation. AI has been the new frontier that's being used in business and in technology in new ways now. It seems this year has kind of lifted the roof off how AI can be adapted. How is it being used in conservation efforts?
Okay, so when we think of AI and how this is traditionally being marketed towards us, a lot of it's facial recognition, and a lot of it's nefarious. It's a little bit scary what that data means for our future, and we've got to start thinking as a population. It's going to happen, but how are we going to manage data?
How are we going to control that? Yeah.
I have a really strong feelings about this, and it's obviously a conversation for another time. But very similar technology can be used in the field by putting up cameras and identifying different animals, and it can get so good that it can identify individual animals. So when you want to do population counts, and having you traditionally have like a game ranger drive around and manually count and you mark with with marking pens, like physical stuff. Now you have the capacity to use AI technology to literally do facial recognition with these animals and have proper counts. And that will help anti-poaching efforts because you will know what the population density is, which animals are missing, which animals are growing, what is the trajectory of the population, is it increasing, is it being healthy? And also remember, it's an ecology, it's one animal survival means the livelihood of another animal survival, or vice versa.
And it also, we can respond to this kind of gathering of data much more quickly, and we can act on it, which is exactly what we need to do. Very exciting stuff. Thank you so much for doing the research there. Amazing how we are seeing technology being used in our conservation efforts, and boy, do we need it now more than ever. And if you want to instill in a person the love of conservation and how precious that resource is, you've got to actually take people into the wild. And we've got a golden opportunity coming up now. Thank you, courtesy of the team behind Safari Live, who bring us an unprecedented window into the wild. Take a look at this.